and welcome to episode 4. In episode 3, we got it so it had asteroids coming down. In episode 4, we're going to make those asteroids interact with the ship. So let's get started. Just put quickly, if you didn't see the 1, 2 and 3, if you go back now, they're all online on YouTube, and this will make a lot more sense. Let's quickly just recap where we got to. Very simply, the rocket rotates, you can move it with keys, and the asteroids move down, but they don't interact. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's first do that. Okay, let's have a look and see where we got. Ship mesh and rock mesh. These are both just renderable assets. In order to make them make a bit more sense and interact with each other, we need to add like a data asset, something that locks these two and makes a bit more information about them. And we can add that, and it has to be added as a separate object. Hit primitive 2. We're going to call this rock hit cube. And that's exactly what I called it, a rock hit cube. So it's going to be the hit cube of the rock mesh. It's completely separate from the render. You can't parent this to this. There's no parent-child relationships with this engine. I've done that by design. I think it makes it a bit more of a strange choice, but eventually it seemed to make sense to me to do it that way, to keep things very manageable to edit in the studio, manageable to keep on top of in the resources, and as you make larger games with this, it just makes it simpler to understand. So anyway, let's get into also it's quite windy today, so if it's getting lots of noise, it's because it pretty much was a storm last night. There was rain on the tent and it was insane. And if it sounds strange that I'm talking about living in a tent, head over to our YouTube channel on www.youtube.com/livelifeinabox, and you will see our vlogging adventures with me and my girlfriend Sarah, who's just over there. She laughed. Okay, let's do this. Rock hit cube. These are all the properties that will go with rock hit cube. Now, a rock hit cube is just an imaginary, you can picture it as an imaginary cube, and now anything that goes into it will trigger, in this case, a script to run. And I say anything, that's not entirely true. You get to specify what things trigger this. At the moment, it's nothing. Affected primitives is nothing. But we can set that. In this case, we want to know if the ship goes inside the cube, because the cube will represent the field around the asteroid. Apply, close. Great. The diffuse and normal texture is very confusing as it doesn't render. That's just something that I haven't yet got rid of. I have no idea what happens if you don't set those. I think it'll probably error, which is the current state of this studio. This is something I'm working on. So yeah, what's going to happen is when the ship mesh goes inside the box, which is has the scale of 111 in position 000, a render script will be run. But what render script? That's right, we need to create one. So let's create one now. Script, and we'll call this hit script. Sounds perfect. Yeah. So when the ship goes inside that cube, this script will be run. So let's set that up now. Rock hit cube, render hit event script, hit script, close. Now previously we set play render script to default to 1, which meant that it would run straight away. But we don't do that this time. This primitive actually controls that for us. It will set that to 1 when the conditions are met, and the conditions are one of the affected things inside the cube. Alright, let's set this up really simply. Let's just go print hit. So now it's going to print hit when something goes inside this cube. Okay, it's pretty good. Another thing we need to do is exactly the same as before. Anything added to the scene actually has to be put in the scene, else it's just a floating object not associated with the actual render. You can have multiple scenes, which you can make some really crazy stuff, but we're not going to do that in this video. That'll be in future ones as we see more features. Right, the next thing we've got to think about is that, as I said before, rock hit cube and rock mesh are completely separate things. So this renders the rock, whereas this is the data and the surrounding thing. They both have positions. see 0, 6, 0, the starting value of 6, 0, 0, 0. And these need to be the same to put on the exact same point, so the surrounding is over the rock. You could do that in the script. We could go into script and go to rock script where we set up our rock. I could add in here the values, the position values for the rock hit cube, and I could just always make sure that on every frame that the position of the rock mesh is the same as the position of the rock hit cube. But that's really annoying, and eventually when you add more things like camera moving with it or particles, it just turns into a script full of things saying that this variable is the same as this variable. So it became manageable quickly, so I added an extra feature. So if you go lock property, I can actually lock any property to any other property. So position X. So now the position X of rock hit cube is locked to the rock mesh position X. So that does exactly what you think it is. We'll do the same for Y and Z. And position Z. Great. Apply, close, save. So now, when I hit run, what should happen is the asteroids come down, and if they hit the ship, in this point right in the middle of the ship, because it's not doing cube collision detection, it's just getting the single point and seeing if that hits the cube, it will say hit in the console. And to see that, let's turn the console on. But quickly, nobody sponsors this video, so I guess this video is sponsored by me. If you're interested in what I'm doing, if you head on over to yesindeedy.itch.io, you will see the Yes Indeedy homepage on itch. What we're doing is we're making, I say we, it's just me. It sounds special though when you say we, doesn't it? I'm making games, and the idea is I'm going to make small prototypes to try and go through different ideas. It says here, free prototypes. There's no obligation to pay me at all. However, if you feel like you really enjoyed the prototype or simply think it has potential and would like to see a full commercial title, you can make that happen too. Simply purchase the prototype for as little as $1, and once the prototype hits $500, I'll start developing it into a full title, which, once completed, you will receive free as thank you for your early support. That's pretty much the model I'm going with at the moment. At the moment you see two titles. The first one is This a Game?, which was an experimentation, and I've found quite a funny one, as screenshots actually would ruin it, so it makes marketing pretty much impossible. And you can already see Escape Earth here. It's already released. Every time I do one of these videos, I upload to itch, and you can download and play the current form. At the moment, if you were to do that, you could play and the asteroids will fall. After this video, they will interact. Okay, let's get back to it and let's see if that worked. Run. Right, let's see if I can actually make it hit. That's going to be a game in itself. There we go. So that asteroid hit the ship, and it just says hit. At the moment it runs that script, as I said before. It goes to play render script sets to 1, because it never gets set to 0. That just plays forever saying hit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a bit more catastrophic. I think instead of printing to the console, because who has consoles in games? Consoles usually for debugging. I'm going to make it so the application quits. So if we go quit, we actually have access to quitting in the script. Go to application, and then we can go to quit. Okay, so now if we set that variable, quit, to 1, apply, close, save, the application will quit. Let's see if we can actually make this hit. I think it's a different game in itself, trying to make it so you hit these things. Maybe I'll make it so there's a pickup, there we go, hit the rock, so therefore the application quit. I think that's a good place to stop today. If you enjoyed that video, please subscribe to the channel, like it, and add a comment below. Tell me what you like about this. This is a new kind of video series I'm doing. What do you like? What don't you like? Have you got any ideas of types of videos you want to see? And yeah, any questions you have, share it on all your social media. My social media is all here: yesindeedy.itch.io, Twitch, YouTube, and at yesindeedy on Twitter. Thanks for watching. the next episode will be out soon.